Hello, everyone. My name is Anna. I am an only child in the family, and for some reason, it's commonly believed that if you are alone, you're selfish. Is this true? Well, my life took a turn for the worse when my cousin, my maternal cousin, came to live in our house. She did everything she could to take away my parents, my home, and even my boyfriend. She just forced me out. Do you want to know how? I'll tell you all about it right now. In the meantime, please like here and subscribe to the channel. My life was good. It had everything you needed for a teenager, but the most valuable thing was that I was the center of attention for both my mom and dad. What kid wouldn't like that? My boyfriend Noah always said I was lucky. He didn't have a dad, just a mom, and he hardly ever saw her because she worked a lot. But even he, being the only man in the family, didn't forget to give me time. In addition to school, he was also involved in projects. He took texts and did copywriting and rewriting at home, so he earned his own pocket money. I and even my parents were so proud of him. There were times when I often helped him because he called me his inspiration. And then one day, he took on a project he couldn't handle. We sat down to think about it during the day, but even towards nightfall, the work was still not ready, and the deadline was looming. He was very worried because he'd already been sent the prepayment, but I really couldn't help him. I ended up remembering late that my parents were supposed to be back from work at this time, and my mom had asked me to make my dad's favorite lasagna in the morning, and I'd forgotten. I quickly rushed home and apologized profusely, but it turned out my parents weren't even there. I immediately called my mom, and she told me she was in the morgue. Oh my God, I thought something had happened to my father. What a nightmare. But my mom said, "Get a cab and come to the hospital. My sister, her..." My mom couldn't even finish, and I was already rushing to the address. It turned out that my cousin Nina's parents had died in an accident. It was terribly sad. She sat there shattered and almost unresponsive to words. It was a shock even to me. I couldn't imagine what she was going through. No sooner had we all recovered from the tragedy than social services came in. They immediately raised the issue of taking Nina to an orphanage, but my parents and I insisted that she live with us. We were given time to think about it and then decided to take custody. So Nina packed her things and came to live with us. Because of her situation, everyone tried not to leave her unattended. It was difficult for her, but our care helped her, and after 3 months, she more or less came to her senses. Nina and I shared a room and talked before going to sleep. She told me many interesting stories, and I loved to hear them. But then I began to notice that when I came home from work, the first thing my folks would do was look at her, greet her, and ask how she was doing. I couldn't remember the last time they took such an active interest in my life. It was unpleasant. One day I went for a walk with Noah and I told him about it, but he was still loaded with an unfinished project. It was so annoying. Are you even listening to me? Huh? Did you say something? Forget it. I'm going home. I went home in a bad mood and planned to eat ice cream, but there was none in the fridge. Ever since Nina came to her senses, she'd worked up an appetite, but no one touched my ice cream. It was mine, you know? I got mad and went up to Nina and immediately asked her where my ice cream was, to which she replied that she had in fact eaten it. But it was mine, you know? She said yes, but it was in the fridge and no one had touched it, so she thought I didn't need it. I need it! I need it! Then my mom came in and asked, "What are we yelling about?" I got quiet and Nina ran up and hugged my parents. "Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. How was your day?" "Oh, Nina, that's so nice of you." "I made lasagna." "Oh, that's great. I'm as hungry as a wolf. It's been a long time since my daughter made me lasagna." "She ate my ice cream." "It's okay. We'll get some more later." "I need it now. You don't understand. I'm not in the mood." "You're being so awful. Stop it. Go to your room." "Yes, and please." I left, sat there for an hour, pissed off. From the kitchen came the pleasant aroma of lasagna, but I decided not to eat what my cousin made. I went downstairs to get a drink of water, and I saw my parents giving her a bracelet. It broke during the accident, and Nina was upset. It couldn't be repaired, so my parents bought her the exact same one. I immediately estimated the price, and I was horrified because I'd asked them to buy me a ring that I wanted for over a year, and they said it was too expensive, but it cost half as much. Why? Why was my cousin suddenly more important than me, even though she did a great job at sucking up? Nina cleaned and cooked at home and talked to my parents all the time, and they forgot I existed. Sometimes I had the feeling that if I disappeared, they wouldn't even notice, and maybe they'd be even happier. I went to bed, and it was the first night that Nina and I didn't talk before going to sleep. I was just disgusted. In the morning, I found out that my folks were going away for the day on business. That same evening, I invited Noah over to my place. At first, he refused, but I reminded him that he kind of owed me a favor. Plus, he could use the distraction from work. I left for a manicure, and when I got home, I saw that Noah was already there. I opened the door and saw him and Nina sitting on the floor discussing and laughing. They were having fun without me. What's going on here? Imagine! For months, I was struggling with a project. I kept getting sent back to revise it, and Nina came up with a simple idea. It was brilliant. I finished, and what's more, the project was approved right away. Can you imagine? But all I heard was Nina, Nina, Nina. I turned around and, without saying a word, walked out. I suddenly felt so lonely. She had taken everything and everyone from me. How could it be? I wanted things to be like before. Just me, my dad, my mom and Noah, and no one else. The room was mine alone. Ice cream was mine alone. I was not ready for a little sister in my life. I called my mom and asked her to chat, but she hastily told me that she didn't have time. They were on their way home and Dad wanted lasagna. Already? Change of plans, please make it. We'll be very pleased. I can't, Mom. I'm not in the right mood. It's Nina. You're doing it again. What did Nina do to you? Have pity on her. She lost her parents. You don't understand, Mom. Do you know where she is, by the way? She's not answering her phone. This morning I said we'd be back tonight. Okay, I don't have time to talk. I'm sorry. I'll see you later. What? She even notified her but didn't tell me? I was so angry. My whole world was falling apart. And what do you know? By the time I walked home, my parents had already arrived. I found them at the table. Nina and Noah and my parents were sitting there, laughing. Nobody even called me and asked where I was or if I was okay. They were just eating this fucking lasagna my cousin made and praising it. Oh, daughter, hi. How are you? Hi, honey, how are you? Let's go out for dessert. We have a great excuse. What's the occasion? We got custody. Can you believe it? Yes, Nina's our daughter now. Nina is our daughter now. Her words killed me. Oh, so that's it. Now you have another daughter and you don't need me anymore. That's it? Nina's took everything from me. My house, you, even my boyfriend. Now she's all nice, but I know she's a hypocrite. She just stole my life. Are you happy, Nina? You got what you wanted? Now it's all yours and they're all yours. Are you happy? Don't say that. Watch your mouth, Anna. What's wrong with you? With me? I wish she was never here. I wish she died with her parents. I left after those words. Honestly, I didn't think I'd say such a thing myself. The words just came out. I regretted it, but without saying anything, I just went to my room. In the morning, when I woke up, Nina was gone, and so were her things. I went downstairs, and my parents were sitting there in a bad mood. They said she'd left early in the morning. My father had spotted her, but he couldn't stop her in time. She told me she wasn't offended or mad at you. She said you meant well. My conscience tormented me. She left me a letter apologizing, and she also left the bracelet my folks had bought for her. I called Noah and he came over. I know, she texted me. Here's something for you, by the way. He handed over a box from Nina. There was the ring in it, which I'd asked my parents for. You probably didn't know that she'd been out of touch for days because she sold her phone to buy you that ring. I felt so ashamed. Noah and I took the car to the train station, but she wasn't there. I ran in tears. I wanted to ask for her forgiveness, but I couldn't find her. The last bus had left, and I sat down on a bench, looked up, and saw her across the street. She was also sitting on a bench, crying. I walked over to her, apologizing. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I shouldn't have. I just got so jealous of my folks for you because you're better than me. Please forgive me. I didn't want to steal your life. I just wanted to be in it, participate in it, with you. We hugged and went home, and since that day, everything's changed for the better. Now I'm happy and telling everyone that I have a 4-month younger sister. Tell me, guys, did you like my story? Write your opinion about it in the comments below the video. Don't forget to like it, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.